Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today we're going to be going over the Tesla stock price, what the action is, what I think will happen in the coming days, weeks, even months, honestly. And we'll go over Tesla news. So if you guys enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. That helps a lot. Subscribe, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. And as usual, not financial advice. Do your own research, due diligence, all that good stuff. Make your own decisions. You know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. But let's take a look at the stock price today for Tesla. So as you can see, pretty decent close today, actually. So a little bit of a pump near the end of the day. You can see the volume just spiking up, especially this last like 10-ish minutes or so. Just a massive volume spike. Ending the day at 0.6% up at 1,064. So the day started off a little bit, pretty flat, honestly, for the most part. So let me just put the after hours back on so you guys can see where we started and ended. So you can see let's do the 5 minutes. It's a bit easier to kind of get just a very quick idea as to what happened. Overall, just a pretty flat day. We opened up, went down to 1038, which is what I expected. I did say yesterday that I'm expecting a move down to somewhere, around the mid to low 10,000s, right? So I was saying around 1020 to 1030. So it didn't go as low as I thought it would. I thought it would go to like 1030 roughly on the dot, maybe like 32. It went to 1038. I mean, close enough, right? The point is I did expect a move down, just wasn't as big as I thought, which I guess in a way is a good thing. Question mark? I mean, the thing is like people think moves to the downside are bad. They're actually really good as long as they're like not too much, if that makes sense. Because a healthy stock has its ups and downs, right? A healthy stock doesn't just go up or just go down. A healthy stock has, an overall trend, like let's say upwards, but it has like breathing rooms, breathing areas. It's not just like a pump and dump essentially. That's what we don't want to see in a healthy stock. Anyways, moving along. So overall, the day was a little bit strange, but let's look at the overall. Let me remove the after hours so we can get a better idea as to how the overall picture looks like. So Tesla, let's look at the daily first, actually. So Tesla ended up trying its best to just break over this old resistance, which was a support, but overall a resistance in the bull flag that we were setting up, back when Elon was selling. And then we broke out of it, and then we got sucked right back into it just based on macro, of course, in general. Today, Powell was speaking. The market was a bit volatile at the beginning, but Tesla was pretty flat. The indices were a little bit volatile, but you can see they're all looking pretty bullish. I did say yesterday how this close on the SPY is extremely bullish, right? The candle was just completely bullish. I mean, even the QQQ, the fact that it recovered this and ended with a hammer candle as well. Very bullish close, and then the massive follow up on the QQQ today. So, I mean, the QQQ looks pretty bullish. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a mini like drop back down to this like maybe 380-ish level, maybe at some point, or at the very least like a 383-ish drop. And then we continue rallying upwards. Like, it does look like it wants to reverse here. So I'm expecting overall a bullish momentum for the QQQ, which is good for Tesla because it is tech related. It is very like overall usually heavily influenced by the Nasdaq / QQQ. A bit of the SPY as well, of course. But anyway, going back to Tesla specifically, you can see, right? So we did break underneath the resistance / support, the red line over here, which was part of the bull flag. And then we got kind of rejected. So we went back under, went up, got rejected, went up, got rejected, went up even here a little bit, got rejected a bit, but still ended up closing pretty close to it. And same with today, went up above it, got rejected, and ended up closing even closer to it. Now we're pretty much sitting on this like tipping point. We're at the resistance of the bull flag. We're at the resistance of this kind of middle line, which is a decent resistance in my opinion / support, right? It's not like as major in my opinion as this bull flag line one is right here, but it is still something to consider. And they're pretty much completely just intersecting right here. So this is just like we're just in this like corner, it feels like. And there's only, I mean, it'll be really telling. Tomorrow is going to be super, super telling. I think tomorrow is going to be one of the most important days because we have, of course, also the CPI data coming out in the morning. Like I think 8:30 a.m. Eastern or something like that, which is going to give us a tell on inflation. Extremely, extremely, extremely important day. So that's going to pretty much, I think, give us an idea as to how the rest of the month will potentially play out, or like the most of the rest of the month, at least in my opinion. So it's going to be a very important day and rest of the week to see how we close off, and that's going to be extremely telling. So very, very curious to see how that goes. But either way, what I'm predicting for Tesla is, again, looking at it in a slightly like more, shorter time frame over here, Tesla is essentially creating this kind of inverse head and shoulders, right? So you have the shoulder head, and I still expect a pullback. Like I really do expect a pullback lower. Like the pullback we had today wasn't that low. Like I still would not be surprised if we revisit 1024 area. So keep that in mind, guys. Don't be like shocked or like upset if we pull back to 1024. But again, as long as we're above 1020, essentially 1020, as long as we're above 1020, I'm pretty bullish. I'm not too worried. I still think we're in an overall potential reversal here coming up, and it would essentially complete this potential inverse head and shoulders, which is the bullish version. Of course, again, this would be the shoulder, head, and then this would essentially create the second shoulder here. So keep that in mind. That's what I'm personally looking forward to right now. And then off of that, we would just essentially run up into earnings, because again, all that being said and done, don't forget, guys, we do have the earnings coming up at the end of the month, sometime in the maybe 25th, 6th, somewhere like in the mid to high 20s of January, right? We have the earnings coming up. That's going to be an important date. And Tesla has historically ran up into earnings like, I think 15% or something like that. Currently, we're severely down from that. So assuming the history repeats itself roughly, there's a saying in the stock market, history rarely like repeats itself like exactly, but it often rhymes. So it's very, very possible that we're going to run into earnings. So keep that in mind. Again, overall, I am pretty bullish for the rest of the month for Tesla specifically, and just the market in general looks like it wants to just reverse. So keep that in mind, guys. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a pullback, especially with the CPI data coming out. I wouldn't be surprised if that makes us, if that's the reason we pull back to like this 1020, 1030-ish area. And then off of that, we bounce up, and then I think we play out the pattern. And as long as we break, pretty much once we break this 1080-ish level, 1070, 1080 level, that's when we can look for the reversal to be pretty much confirmed, in my opinion. So that's for the stock Tesla, guys. Let me know what you think about that down below. But let's hop into the news itself and see what's happening over at Tesla news in general. So over here we have another gigapress coming over for Giga Texas. By the way, Giga Texas is so bullish, man. That's going to be more bullish than even Berlin. I think Giga Texas is going to be their like probably their #1 factory, with Berlin probably being second, Shanghai third, and of course Fremont probably in a distant fourth. But, you know, another gigapress coming out. This is going to be essentially for their casting on their vehicles, especially the Model Y, where they're trying to do, I think, I can't remember if it was a single casting or dual casting. But the point is that they're essentially revolutionizing the way that manufacturing is being done for cars. So this is one of the big bad boys that's like part of that. So that's extremely bullish. Another thing happening right now is Tesla's in California specifically, the CPUC, which is the California Public Utilities Commission, is essentially imposing a tax, a new a tariff rather, that includes a solar tax of $8 per kilowatt per month, which can add an average of $57 to the monthly electric bill of a typical solar customer. And if adopted, this would be the steepest tax on solar anywhere in the country. So there's a lot of ways you can look at this with tax. There's, you know, not all tax is necessarily a bad thing, but this is pretty steep, of course, which is, I guess, the main problem here. So if you want to sign, there's a petition essentially happening to kind of, you know, argue against this. If you want to sign this, I will link it down below. You guys can click that and, you know, make your voice heard overall, of course. Following that, we have a Tesla website code mentions Dogecoin as payment, which is not surprising. Elon did say that they're going to be essentially trying to implement Dogecoin as a form of payment for Tesla, whether it's cars, merchandise, whatever, just on the Tesla store in general. So that's something that's, you know, kind of being found out right now. So not surprising, but, you know, thought I'd mention it regardless. We have our boy Gary Black over here, of course, a prominent Tesla bull from the Future Fund, that is essentially giving us a rundown for what can pretty much increase this Tesla stock price. Essentially the bull cases, if you will, the bull catalysts, and from, I think, least bullish to most bullish. I mean, they're all bullish, but it's just if you had to rank them. So FSD battery improvements he thinks is least bullish, apparently. EV price hikes, analyst earnings ratings changes, which will of course probably continue happening up until earnings, and especially after earnings, which coincides with the price target increases among the Tesla bulls, analyst bulls. The EV credit, of course, coming back in. The earnings per share and gross margin percent beats, which are probably going to be beats coming over for Q4. Volume beats, which essentially is just how many vehicles are being delivered, of course, compared to the consensus from the analysts. Macro, which is what we talked about earlier, right, when it comes to inflation, the Fed overall bond, and how much they have on their balance sheet. And then, of course, probably the most bullish thing is a stock split. Stock split is like extremely bullish, because not only does it mean the stock split is going to make the price more affordable for like the average, you know, trader, investor to be able to purchase shares without feeling like, oh my goodness, it's so expensive per share, which I still don't understand the thought process behind that, because it's not about how many shares you have, it's about the money and the percentage. But regardless, this is also good for Tesla employees, because they have that whole, like, you know, tax benefit thing in Tesla. A lot of companies have it, but for Tesla, again, the way it works essentially, from what I understand, from what I read and watched, is that Tesla employees that don't make an insane salary, like making, you know, an average salary, let's say 50, 60K or something like that, they can take a percentage of their income and translate that into shares that they buy at a discount essentially. But nonetheless, if the Tesla stock price is really high, then it's a bit harder for them to take a percentage of their salary and turn it into shares or buy shares with it because of the stock price. So it's harder to accumulate shares essentially for Tesla employees when the stock price is really high. And what a share split or a stock split does is essentially obviously lowers the price by, let's say, 5-1 or something like that. And it makes it a lot easier for employees, like all Tesla employees, especially the ones earning like an average income, to of course buy more Tesla shares, which is I'm sure what they want to do. Hence why they're working in Tesla, because they're bullish on the company and they love the company, long term, short term, medium term, every form of term. Moving along, Gary Black also reiterates the fact that Tesla should move higher into the fourth quarter earnings in 2 weeks. He's estimating it'll be on the 26th of January, which should be Wednesday, so in 2 weeks, roughly from tomorrow. Austin opening next week. Right, again, extremely bullish. Like, I mean, again, don't forget, guys, just because the factory is opening doesn't mean it's going to instantly start pumping out vehicles like nothing. It'll take time to ramp up. 8 of 9 past quarters, Tesla rallied about plus 19%. So far, we're down 11%. This is what I mentioned earlier. So he's where I got that idea from. And then Wall Street will continue to raise the fourth quarter earnings per share. Current one is 2.55. I believe the overall average Wall Street analyst estimate for the EPS is 2.23, and then the fiscal year of 22, so essentially for the year of 2022 by the end of it, his estimates are 12.8, and the streets, or the the Wall Street's estimates are 9.13, which is really, really low. So apparently we're going to get an announcement, he's saying, either today or tomorrow for when the earnings report is going to happen, which is going to be pretty exciting. So I'm very excited for that. And the final thing is we got the Tesla China numbers for December. Pretty much 71,000 vehicles delivered, which is an insane beat. It was expected after the overall numbers came out for Tesla and their deliveries for the year, and especially the overall quarter. But nonetheless, just to see this is just, validation even further, which is very, very bullish. And of course, extremely, extremely telling for the future of Tesla in general, and especially in China. But either way, guys, that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about it down below. That's the stock analysis as well. Let's check out the after hours for fun. Down 0.3%, beautiful. Either way, guys, let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button. See you for the next one. Peace.